What if the only thing standing between you and a new reality is where you place your focus? What if your mind was never truly yours, but a battlefield, hijacked by noise, fear, and forgotten power? Every day, you're surrounded by distractions, yet deep inside, something ancient is calling. Not religion, not motivation, but raw, untamed energy, a force you've carried since birth but never learned to use. This isn't a video about hacks or hype. It's a journey back to your original state of power, before the noise, before the conditioning, before the world convinced you to forget. We'll explore real stories, spiritual science, quantum secrets, and ancient practices to unlock the one thing no one can take from you, your energy. So the only question is, are you ready to remember what you've always been? He walked across Broadway blindfolded, eyes wrapped in thick gauze, cotton and black cloth. Onlookers froze as he read license plates, dodged potholes, and described faces without seeing them. His name was Khuda Bux, a Kashmiri mystic who stunned scientists, illusionists, and skeptics alike. But behind the spectacle, Khuda whispered a truth that few understood. This wasn't illusion, it was a mental and spiritual breakthrough. He claimed he had activated dormant senses through intense energy mastery and yogic focus. From a young age, Khuda immersed himself in esoteric traditions, especially the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. He practiced Trataka, a candle-gazing technique to still the mind, and learned to quiet thousands of thoughts into one silent stream. With time, he said, the boundaries between physical and subtle sight began to blur. His ability to see without his eyes wasn't about magic, it was about manipulating perception itself. And perception, he believed, is the gateway to controlling energy. What made Khuda unique wasn't his talent, but his dedication. While others laughed or doubted, he trained for hours daily, isolating himself, going deep into meditative states, exploring the limits of what the mind could do. He taught that energy follows attention, and attention, when laser-focused, could pierce through physical barriers, like gauze or skin. This wasn't superstition. It was direct experience, refined by discipline and belief. Many modern scientists dismissed him, calling it muscle memory or subconscious cueing. But some open-minded researchers noted strange patterns. His brainwaves shifted dramatically during demonstrations. His pulse slowed. His skin temperature dropped. Something deeper was happening. It was as if his body tuned into a frequency beyond logic, into the realm of pure energy perception. Khuda never positioned himself as divine. He saw himself as a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern confusion. The mind, he said, is a mirror. Clean it long enough, and you'll see the soul looking back, clearer than ever. In a world obsessed with outer vision, he showed us the miracle of inner sight. A reminder that when you train your focus, you awaken something ancestral, cosmic, and real. The story of Khuda Bux isn't about replicating his stunts. It's about realizing what's possible. If one man, through focused training, could override biology, what does that mean about our limits? Could it be that your energy is waiting, right now, to be remembered and directed? That's where our journey begins. The average person has over 6,000 thoughts per day. Most drift by like clouds, unnoticed, unfocused, and unclaimed. But the ancient yogis believed that true power begins when the mind stops scattering and begins to concentrate. Focus isn't just about productivity. It's about channeling your inner energy like a laser beam. When the mind stops leaking attention in every direction, it becomes a force of nature. Imagine holding a magnifying glass under the sun. The light is everywhere, but only when concentrated does it start a fire. Your energy works the same way. Scattered thoughts weaken it. Focused thought ignites it. Advanced meditators say that sustained concentration on a single object, like a flame, sound, or symbol, can unlock extraordinary abilities, including heightened intuition and even sight beyond the physical. It sounds impossible until you try it. Sit for 10 minutes and look at a candle without blinking. Your eyes will fight you, your thoughts will pull you, your body will itch and squirm. But something curious happens if you persist. Your breath slows, your thoughts narrow, time distorts. That's not just meditation, it's energy aligning itself to your intention. You start awakening subtle senses that you never knew you had. Over time, this discipline doesn't just improve mental focus, it shifts reality, because reality, in essence, responds to vibration. And when your vibration is pure, uncluttered by distraction or doubt, it begins to shape your outer world. Saints, mystics, and even modern mind hackers agree on this. Concentration is the gate. Everything else flows from there. Wealth, peace, insight, even psychic ability starts with a focused mind. Most people never get there, not because they're incapable, but because they never commit. Concentration is a lost art. In a world where attention is constantly hijacked, regaining control of it is an act of rebellion, a sacred defiance. And when you master it, you don't just reclaim your time, you reclaim your energy, your power, your spiritual destiny. So the question is, can you bring your mind back to a single point again and again until that point becomes a portal? What might you discover there? Perhaps the answer isn't out there, but in your ability to hold attention long enough for the truth to emerge. The ancient yogis spoke of 3 core disciplines: dharana, concentration; dhyana, meditation; and samadhi, absorption. Together, these are the inner fire that unlocks the dormant powers of the soul. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras describe siddhis, spiritual abilities like levitation, clairvoyance, and telepathy, not as fantasy, but as natural byproducts of focused energy. When mind, breath, and intention merge, the impossible becomes intuitive. Science might scoff at such claims, but quantum physics is beginning to catch up. Experiments show that particles behave differently when observed. That simple awareness, attention, changes reality itself. The yogis knew this thousands of years ago. They taught that your energy field, when harmonized, can bend the limits of time, space, and perception. You don't need to defy science. You need to remember a deeper science of the soul. Levitation might sound absurd until you study what yogis meant. It wasn't always physical. It was energetic lightness, a freedom from density, heaviness, and the downward pull of low vibration. It symbolized the soul rising above karma, fear, and the illusion of matter. This wasn't about circus tricks. It was about alignment. When you focus your energy through deep states of absorption, the boundaries between inner and outer dissolve. Clarividencia, or clear seeing, is another yogic power. But it doesn't mean predicting lottery numbers. It means seeing through the fog of illusion, reading energy, emotions, and hidden truths that lie beneath the surface. When your third eye is open, you don't need confirmation from outside. You know, and that knowing is magnetic. It pulls the universe toward you, like a tuning fork vibrating at a sacred frequency. Western science dissects, categorizes, and isolates. Eastern wisdom synthesizes, aligns, and harmonizes. Yoga isn't just a body practice, it's a science of energy mastery. It trains your perception to tune into dimensions beyond the 5 senses. And when the mind enters samadhi, the yogi becomes like a mirror reflecting the entire cosmos. Silent, radiant, and infinitely connected. So are siddhis real? Maybe. But the real secret isn't the power, it's the process. The way you breathe, think, feel, and focus determines the quality of your energy. And when that energy is clean and concentrated, the supernatural becomes your natural state. In the realm of quantum physics, there's a phenomenon that defies logic: entanglement. 2 particles, separated by light years, can affect each other instantly. No wires, no signals, just pure connection. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, but to mystics, it sounded familiar. Because this is exactly how energy works in the spiritual dimension, through invisible intention, unbound by space or time. When you set a clear intention, you're not just wishing, you're collapsing probabilities, like a sculptor chiseling a block of marble into form. In quantum terms, attention collapses the wave function. In spiritual terms, energy follows belief. If you truly believe that your focus can alter reality, you begin to see signs, synchronicities, shifts, and answers that come out of nowhere. But it's not coincidence. It's entanglement responding to your vibration. Have you ever thought of someone only to have them call you minutes later? That's not magic. That's entangled consciousness. Our thoughts emit frequencies, and those frequencies reach beyond the body. Ancient traditions knew this. They taught that when you focus on someone or something with clarity and emotional resonance, you link with it energetically. You send a signal and receive one back. This is why chaotic minds create chaotic lives. When your energy is scattered, you entangle with fear, confusion, and resistance. But when your intention is sharp and your focus unwavering, the world seems to shift in your favor. People show up. Paths open, time bends, because reality isn't a fixed object, it's a fluid mirror of your inner vibration. What's powerful is that this is not just theory, it's practice. You can meditate on a person you love, a goal you crave, or a reality you wish to live. And if you do it with full presence, as if it already exists, your energy becomes the bridge that connects you to it. Entanglement isn't reserved for particles, it's how consciousness weaves through the fabric of the universe. So the next time you feel powerless, remember, every thought, every emotion, every breath is influencing the field. You are never separate, you are the cause and the receiver. The only question is, what are you choosing to entangle with? Pause for a second. If any part of this is already awakening something in you, a memory, a question, a realization, I want you to share it in the comments right now. What does energy mean to you? Have you ever experienced a moment where reality shifted because of your focus or intention? Your story might be the spark someone else needs to remember their own power. Most people think they attract what they want, but in truth, they attract what they are. This is the essence of the law of attraction. You don't manifest what you chase, you manifest what you radiate. Your vibration is a message, and the universe responds not to words, but to energy. That's why focusing on lack brings more lack, and why embodying abundance, even in silence, opens hidden doors. Then comes a deeper layer, the law of assumption. This law teaches that your inner state must assume your desire is already fulfilled. It's not about hoping, it's about knowing. Neville Goddard, a great spiritual teacher, said that imagining vividly with conviction is the fastest path to manifestation. When you walk, breathe, and think like it's already done, the outer world begins to reflect that inner certainty. Let's say you want peace. If you keep thinking, I want to stop feeling anxious, your energy is still entangled with anxiety. But if you assume peace is already yours, if you walk as peace, speak from peace, feel peace in your cells, you align with its frequency. The world then starts to bend toward that vibration. Not because of luck, because of law. These aren't suggestions, they're spiritual mechanics. The danger is when people confuse these laws with passive wishing. Wishing without assumption is hollow. It lacks energy. Assumption, on the other hand, is alive. It charges your being with belief. It's like stepping into a character so fully that the world must follow your lead, and if your vibration stays consistent, reality has no choice but to rearrange. That's why the law of assumption is like a hidden code. It bypasses resistance by being the result before the evidence arrives. The more you live in that imagined end, the faster it materializes. And over time, you start to notice your life is just a reflection of your most dominant assumptions, both conscious and unconscious. So what are you assuming today? Poverty or prosperity? Fear or faith? Because in the spiritual realm, what you assume to be true becomes the blueprint of your future. Your energy is always building. The only question is, what reality is it constructing? What if consciousness doesn't come from the brain, but the brain comes from consciousness? That's the foundation of biocentrism, a theory that suggests life and awareness are not byproducts of the universe, they're the source. Dr. Robert Lanza proposes that space and time are tools of perception, not fixed realities. In this view, energy and consciousness are the architects of the physical world, not the other way around. Then there's the holographic universe theory. It says that everything we see is a projection from a deeper dimension, like a 3D image projected from a 2D code. Imagine your life as a movie on a screen. The screen isn't real, it's just light, information, frequency. Your consciousness then is the projector, and your focused energy determines the script you see playing out. When people understand this, they stop trying to change the screen and start changing the projection. That means your thoughts, emotions, and intentions aren't private, they're creative forces. In the holographic model, the smallest shift in perception can ripple out into massive changes in your outer world, because everything is connected. Everything is made of mind. This is why practices like visualization, affirmations, and meditation work. They're not mental games, they're spiritual programming tools. You're literally writing new holographic patterns with your energy, and when those patterns are repeated with belief and emotion, they become encoded in the field. The field, in turn, reflects them back through events, people, and opportunities. So if the universe is a mirror and your consciousness is the artist, what are you painting? What emotional colors are you using? When you realize that your reality is a holographic echo of your inner state, you stop feeling like a victim and start becoming a creator, a deliberate one, a luminous one. Modern science is still catching up, but ancient wisdom already knew reality is malleable. It bends to the will of focused, awakened energy. And that energy, it starts with you. Long before the word energy entered modern vocabulary, ancient civilizations had already mapped it. The Chinese called it Qi, the Indians Prana, the Greeks Pneuma, and the Egyptians Ka. Different names, same force, an invisible current that animates all life. This wasn't a metaphor, it was a lived truth. They believed this energy flowed through the body like rivers, feeding not only organs but also emotions and spiritual potential. Practices like Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga were created not for fitness, but to awaken and guide this energy. Every breath, every posture, every motion was intentional. The spine became a conduit, the breath a fuel, the mind a navigator. When these elements aligned, energy surged, blockages melted, illness vanished, insight appeared, the body became a temple, and movement became prayer. Central to these systems are the chakras, energy centers positioned along the spine. Each one governs different aspects of your being: survival, creativity, willpower, love, expression, intuition, and divine connection. When your chakras are balanced, your life flows. When they're blocked, you feel stuck, anxious, or lost. These aren't just symbols, they're maps of energy in motion. Modern science often shrugs at these concepts, but biofield research is starting to validate them. Tools like Kirlian photography and HeartMath sensors show measurable energy patterns around the body, and while the language may differ, frequency, field, resonance, the essence remains the same. We are energetic beings in an energetic world, and to ignore this is to miss half of who we are. What's stunning is how these ancient systems knew what science is only now confirming. Breath affects the nervous system. Posture changes mood. Intention changes biology. It's not mystical, it's mechanical. The difference is, the ancients saw it as sacred. They honored energy not just as power, but as presence, as life itself. So when you practice yoga or breathe with intention, remember, you're not just stretching or calming down. You're activating ancient technology within you. You're harmonizing with a force that your ancestors knew intimately. A force called energy. Light a candle, not just to illuminate the room, but to awaken the fire within you. That small flame becomes your focus, your anchor, your spiritual mirror. As you sit in silence and gaze into it, something begins to shift. Your thoughts slow. Your breath deepens. Your scattered energy starts to gather. This is the ancient practice of Trataka, candle gazing, used by mystics to sharpen the mind and awaken inner sight. But you're not just staring, you're channeling. As the flame flickers, visualize a desire already fulfilled. See it not as a dream, but as a memory. Feel it in your bones. Breathe as if it's already yours, because your energy, when charged with emotion and focus, begins to imprint that reality onto the quantum field. You're not hoping, you're commanding, not begging but aligning. Keep your gaze steady but soft. Let the flame blur into your awareness. You may begin to see colors, symbols, or even feel waves of energy pulsing through your body. That's good. That means your conscious mind is quieting and your subconscious is stepping forward. This is where true manifestation begins, not with words, but with vibrational presence. After 5 to 10 minutes, close your eyes. You'll still see the flame inside your mind. Hold the image. Visualize your desire once more, now glowing within. Let it sink into your being. Know that this ritual is more than symbolic, it's energetic coding. The fire external becomes the fire internal, and that fire transforms energy into form. You can do this daily. It costs nothing but gives everything. The more consistent you are, the stronger the imprint becomes. And soon, you'll notice reality shifting around you, subtle at first, then undeniable. Because the universe doesn't respond to effort, it responds to alignment, and the candle teaches you how to align through stillness and focused will. So don't underestimate the flame. It's a doorway, a teacher, a tool, a way to speak to the fabric of existence in the only language it understands. Pure, focused, vibrating energy. Imagine unlocking a hidden reservoir of strength, focus and clarity, just by breathing. That's what Wim Hof, the Iceman, discovered. Through a powerful method of breathing, cold exposure and commitment, he's shattered scientific expectations. But more importantly, he's proven something timeless. Breath is the bridge between mind and energy, between chaos and control, between survival and awakening. The technique is deceptively simple. You take 30 to 40 deep breaths, in through the nose or mouth, out through the mouth, fast and full. Then, on the last exhale, you hold your breath. No air in your lungs, yet you feel energized, even euphoric. That's because you're flooding your body with oxygen, alkalizing your system, and shifting into a deep energy state, one where fear dissolves and clarity rises. As you repeat the cycle, your perception changes. Colors become brighter, emotions rise and release. A sense of peace washes over you, not the peace of passivity, but the peace of power. This breathing taps into the autonomic nervous system, something once believed to be beyond our control. It unlocks resilience, sharpens focus, and raises your vibration. You're not just breathing, you're reprogramming your inner field. But the most mystical part, the connection to life force. Yogis call it prana, Taoists call it chi, Wim calls it oxygen, but the essence is the same. With each breath, You're drawing in raw life energy and circulating it through your system. You're waking up dormant circuits in your brain, clearing emotional fog and anchoring deeply into the present moment. Even 5 minutes a day can reset your system. Before meditation, before sleep, before creative work, it enhances all of it, because breath is the fuel of consciousness. When you breathe with purpose, you align with a greater intelligence, an ancient rhythm, a universal pulse that's been flowing through you all along. So inhale fully, let go completely, hold the space in between, and in that space, you'll discover something priceless, your own untapped power, encoded in energy, waiting to rise. Scroll, swipe, click, repeat. We live in a world designed to fragment our attention. Every notification, every buzz, every shiny piece of content pulls your energy in 100 directions. And most people don't realize they're not just losing time, they're losing power. Because focus is energy, and every distraction bleeds it out, like a leak in a sacred vessel. Your phone isn't evil, but it's engineered to hijack your mind. Algorithms study you, learn your cravings, and feed you just enough dopamine to keep you hooked. But the cost is deeper than wasted hours. The real danger is spiritual erosion. The more distracted you become, the less you remember who you are. Your thoughts get noisier, your intuition dims, your inner compass spins. When you're constantly plugged into the outer world, you forget the inner one. That sacred space where silence speaks, where visions come, where energy builds. And without access to that space, manifestation weakens, creativity stalls, peace becomes rare. You may feel busy, but spiritually you're starving. The connection to source fades, not because it left you, but because you stopped listening. But there's a way back. Start by setting sacred boundaries. Mornings without screens, walks without music, meals without scrolling. Let your nervous system remember stillness. Reclaim your attention like a warrior reclaiming stolen treasure. Because your focus is not a toy, it's a tool, a wand, a weapon. And when it's wielded consciously, it becomes the gateway to divine energy. Even just 20 minutes of deep focus a day on breath, on visualization, on silence can recalibrate your entire field. Your clarity sharpens, your heart softens, the world slows down. You begin to see life not through noise but through presence, and in that presence, power returns. So unplug to plug in, disconnect from distraction to reconnect with destiny. Because your spiritual growth, your intuition, your manifestation, they all depend on one thing: how you manage your energy. You don't need to become someone else to change your life. You only need to reclaim what was always yours: your attention, your breath, your focused energy. Because when you align those simple forces, even the most impossible things begin to bend in your favor. It's not magic, it's memory. A remembering of what your soul already knows, but the world made you forget. So try the candle. Breathe with presence. Practice focus like your future depends on it, because it does. Feel your desires as if they already live inside you, and guard your energy like the sacred flame it is. Every distraction you resist, every intention you reinforce, builds the foundation of a new reality. The universe isn't waiting, it's responding. Now I'd love to hear from you. What part of this journey hit home for you most? Leave a comment and let's grow together. And if this video stirred something in you, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell so you never miss a reminder of who you truly are.